We're not going to start with a normal stop. We've got a big herd of buffalo that are moving towards our northern boundary. So we're going to try to keep up with them. Hopefully they don't cross, or hopefully the lions come from the north and chase them through. But I'd guess there's probably 250 or so buffalo here. Lots of babies. So I'm just going to try to get us around to an open area where we can have a nice good look at them. Okay, they're all moving parallel to me at the moment. And this is actually the biggest herd of buffalo I've seen since I've been here. So it's quite exciting for me. For those of you who are new, my name is Brent. I've got Jandre on camera. We have Scott and Wiem on the other vehicle. And we have Tara, Eugene, and Nikki in the final control. We are live. So you are seeing this monstrous herd of buffalo at the same time as I am. And I'm just going to try to get ahead of them quickly. And probably about 250, and these are the herds of buffalo that the lions like to follow, where there's a nice mix of young and old. So hopefully they attract some lions, and hopefully they attract the lions before they cross our northern boundary. Here we go. I'm just going to climb up this termite mound here. You guys can have a look down upon them. How's that, Jandre? There we go. So also, just in case you are new, we are, as I said, we are live. We are also interactive. You can ask us about what we're seeing in the bush. And there we go. They're spread out through this sparse woodland. There's a water hole to the north of us that it looks like they might be moving towards. So lots of babies, lots of females, definitely the largest buffalo herd I've seen since I've been here. That one's there giving us a good sniff. So we started a little bit early this morning because these buffalo were on the move. So just in case you guys missed it, my name is Brent. I've got Jandre on camera, and we're sitting next to a herd of about 250 African buffalo, also known as Cape buffalo. Nice big herd, the biggest I've seen since I've been with Wild Earth. And they're slowly mobile towards our northern boundary. Unfortunately, what I'm hoping is lions come from the north and chase them back. But really, really great to spend some time with a nice big herd. And also to all our American viewers out there, happy 4th of July. I hope you guys have been having a fantastic holiday and not too much overindulgence, and enjoyed your 4th of July fireworks. If you sit quietly and listen, you can actually hear lots of different noises. You can hear the horns. Oh, there's some mating going on. Here we go. And so mating will constantly happen in a buffalo herd. And those old boys we see around the water holes and stuff would have once been part of one of some of these big herds, but they've now had to give away for the younger bulls, who are more vigorous and more aggressive in claiming mating rights. Morning, Katie. Got a large breeding herd of Inyati about to cross to Sydney's dam, but they're still on the Vuyatela side. Negative, just me. So if you have a look, we'll try, I saw it there now. Buffalo is, oh, there we go, giving us the you owe me money look. And there's also a lot of sort of tussles and tumbles. You hear that brr, brr, of people or buffalo getting horned. But we'll try have a look. I saw it happening now. And quite an interesting adaptation that buffalo have with their calves is that their calves can actually drink while the herd is on the move. And they'll do that by drinking between the mother's back legs while they move slowly through the bush. And here come two little cute guys now. Not too young, but they're still started to develop. Oh, just there we go, little horns, very sweet. So it's quite nice. We're able to climb up on top of this termite mound and get a nice view on them from the top. The leaders are starting to cross in front of us. Oh, there's an argument in there. You just hear that. So the leaders are starting to cross down to the waterhole in front of us, and they actually go quite deep into the bush. And you can see the dust. And one of the ways to find these big buffalo herds in the dry season is you just see this tower of dust. And normally you hope there's some lions close by as well. But hopefully they'll move around here and the sun will pop up just in time. So, quite interesting, very different social structure from a group of those big buffalo bulls. We can see there's a buffalo bull in his prime there, the second buffalo back. And sorry guys, the Game Drive channel is just talking to me quickly. Oh. So there we go. So you have, at the moment, they will be led generally by a couple of senior bulls or cows that will start moving them in a direction. But when under threat, you'll find the cows with the calves will head to the center of the herd, and these bulls, like this big guy right in front of us here, they will move to the peripheries to try to defend against lions, which is the most common predator on a large herd of buffalo. Morning, Tamira. Welcome on this beautiful buffalo sunrise. Tamira would like to know, how long does it take for a buffalo's horns to curl? Well, what we're going to try to do is have a look. Let's start with this little guy down here, Jean-Jay. You see a little calf there. He's probably 6-7 months old now, and you can see the horns are still quite straight. And there we go, that little guy there. And then let's try, there we go, right behind him to the left, here's one who's probably about 2 years old, maybe a little bit younger. Right off to the right, there's an adult cow there, but there we go. There's a guy probably pushing about 3, and you can see the horns are starting to curl already. So they do curl quite early. More moving right in front of me now, and the one right behind him, about similar age. Oh, mating again. So mating is a constant thing, although it doesn't look like that male is succeeding. But I said it's a constant. Oh, look how cute that little guy is there. Now that's a bit younger. You can see the horns have hardly ever developed, and they're doing that sort of walk and drink, and that's a very unique thing to buffalo. You don't really see many other animals doing that. But isn't that wonderful? You can see the dust they're actually bringing up off the ground as they move, and you can imagine when they stampede the amount of dust they do. So what quite often happens when lions are hunting a big herd like this, a lot of confusion ensues because of the amount of dust created. Alexa, slowly mobile north. The first members of the herd are busy crossing the Buffalo boundary now. It is a nice big herd. We're just going to drop down again, get into a different position, or maybe let's wait 2 minutes. And you can see there's actually quite a few more on the other side of the drainage line, and I've just heard in my ear right now that it sounds like from the guys, because we're staying in the Manuleti at the moment, it sounded like the Birmingham male lions roaring in this general area around the gate where these buffalo are. So fingers crossed that they come storming south when they hear this herd get moving. We're gonna pop down off our high perch and go get down and in between the buffalo. From Wisconsin, Liz would like to know with the Nkuhuma Pride hunting the other day. It's really impossible for me to tell. So we're going to stay with these buffalo for right now, but I hear Scott has been using my feather again, so we're going to cross across to Scott, but we're going to stay around this area to see if these lions do come and possibly put some pressure on this buffalo herd.
Good morning everyone, and I'm going to keep this brief. Take a close look over here. My name's Scott, and on camera with me is VM today. And this looks like Karula. We've just found her. We were following her tracks that veered off the road, and then thankfully we spent a little bit of time in the area and heard some alarm calls that you will continue to hear now. It's a nasal snort from an impala. She seems very focused on marking her territory, which she's doing now. And it's interesting because her daughter Shadow is pushing further into her territory in this area, and we've seen Shadow here. And now she is coming and scent marking, probably on top of her daughter's scent marks. Absolutely wonderful. We were planning on heading towards Shadow and her cub Sindile to a kill they made last night, but before we could get there, we couldn't resist the opportunity to track this leopard, and it paid off. What a great start. While we parked here, there's a beautiful shot of the sunset that I'd like to show you. It's all happening here on Djuma this morning, and it's so good to have you with us. Happy 4th of July for everyone. apologies, sunrise, not sunset. What a beautiful morning it is. I don't want to spend too long here though, because we run the risk of losing track of this female leopard. Well, what a start, Brent, with that massive herd of buffalo. And now we just hit the jackpot with Karula. The radio is going to be quite busy. There's quite a few people that would like to come and join us here. So I will be chatting on the radio, just to warn you. Okay, good news is I've still got a view of her. She's just off to our left, crossing over a road. And we're going to be able to link ahead of her and hopefully get you some more great views of her. I haven't seen Karula for probably a month, so really happy to see her again. I think the last sighting that was had of her was with James on a bushback kill that she made. Getting into quite a tricky area. There's a little riverbed that runs in front of us, so what I'm going to do is try and cut across it, find a way across. And that way, wait for her on the other side. She's just off to our left now. And we got lucky, we found a relatively easy crossing through this riverbed. And we should be getting a visual in the next 10 or 15 seconds. So that's not too much longer. Okay. So this is a little place we can stop and allow VM, who's on camera with me today, to film her. She is zigzagging around, and this is behavior that Brent made you all aware of yesterday when following his tracks. And the position that I was hoping she was going to get into, or continue coming through, she has veered off. So while we get into a good spot, we're going to send you across to Brent, and as soon as we do get a little bit closer to her, we'll let you know, and you'll come back to us. We'll see you all a little bit later. Welcome back guys, as they are heading towards the dam. We're actually now right in the base with the dust, the last of them right in front of me. We're sort of edging our way through them so we can get around, so we can have a visual of them drinking. It's going to be a long distance visual, but this herd I think is actually a bit bigger than I originally thought. I think this is possibly pushing 300 plus. It's a lot more that I didn't see on this side of the drainage line that we're moving into now. Morning, Gilly from Wisconsin. Gilly would like to know, why do they gather in these big groups like this? And is it because it's to lack danger? There's another one with a collar. The second one with a collar I've seen. Probably part of the bovine TV research that is happening in Kruger National Park.
And so getting back to you, yes, they definitely gather in these numbers to avoid predators. There's a far lesser chance as an individual of being eaten when there are so many of you. And as I said, you said, wow, 250. I think it's a bit bigger. I say it's closer to 350 now. But now, as I said, we heard the report that the Birmingham boys were actually heading towards this area. So that could be very exciting. If I stop here, we'll see no buffalo, so I need to move around up onto the higher ground. Sorry about the signal cutout. We are in a drainage line, and as soon as I can get up and around, we will. Morning, Stephanie. Welcome on this buffalo or bovine-filled sunrise safari, Stephanie. Stephanie would like to know, do buffalo cows only suckle their own calves? They do, Stephanie. There have been some recorded cases of adoption, but it's very rare. And you can see this big bull, one of the dominant bulls in the herd, making sure we're not causing any trouble here. You can just see that dust that they create as they walk, and they're not running or moving particularly. So while these buffalo move down towards the dam, I'm going to reposition, and we're going to cross back to Scott, who's with Karula, who I'm pretty sure I was tracking yesterday. So awesome that Scott's found her this morning, and we'll be back with you a little later. Welcome back, folks, and take a closer look at, I think it's Karula. She's just underneath this fallen down marula tree, and she might jump onto it for us, or she may scent mark on it, or she may do none of those and just carry on moving. Beautiful morning light bathing her coat, and what a way to start the day, a female leopard on the move. For those of you who have just joined, she looks like she's very intently scent marking in this area, and it's an area where her daughter Shadow has started. And mothers and daughters will compete for Stop it for a second. It sounds like she may have, or it looks like she may have seen something, although it was just for a brief moment her body language changed. Go ahead, Orbs. It's just Max and myself. We are in Makulu Plateen at the moment, just south of the Bakers. I think she has seen or detected something. She seems to be
trotting ahead quite quickly. So there may be some potential prey up ahead. Not that we've seen yet, but exciting prospects nonetheless. Might get a little gap here. Not easy business following leopards through Lucy in Indiana would like to know if she would know that it is her daughter's scent, and she certainly would. They will know the sense of individual leopard. She will know that it's her daughter, but that's not to say she will not compete with her for territory. This is going to be beautiful. It's still quite thick bush, but the morning light that she's heading directly east towards is making for some great shots. Incredible to think that yesterday we were viewing one of her daughters and her daughter's offspring, and now today we get to see her. We are incredibly privileged in this area to follow the leopards quite closely and be allowed an insight into their lives. In many wilderness areas within Africa, leopard will occur, but you will seldom be allowed anywhere close to them. They'll hide away from you, and that is why we're so privileged here on Djuma and Arathusa to have habituated leopard who have become accustomed to the vehicles. Copy that, Orbs. At the moment she's following the small river that runs down to the pump house. I'll hold the music down. Thanks, Graham. Graham's just helping me to keep track of where she is. As driving and controlling the radio and chatting to all of you can make it a bit much at some stages, so thanks, Graham, for your help. What I'm going to try and do is possibly even cross onto the other side of this riverbed and view her from here. It's a bit of a gamble, but we can always cross the riverbed if we need to again. Get back onto the same side of her. But I'm thinking in this thick bush it may be more beneficial for us to keep a bit more distance that we can film her from. And that may also not have an impact on whatever prey she may be trying to chase down. Okay, we're going to send you back to that large herd of buffalo just before we get into the next good spot for Karula, so enjoy that sighting and we'll see you all a bit later.
So guys, we're still with these buffalo. They've crossed through to Sydney's Dam. We're going to have one last look at them. Some of them are drinking, and then it looks like they're heading north. But hopefully those Birmingham boys are still around, and are going to push them back this way. Hi Georgian, welcome on the Sunrise Safari. Great to have you with us with this monster herd of buffalo, Georgian. Georgian would like to know, in these big herds, is it easier for the lions to possibly catch some? It is, Georgian, because you've got a varied age group here, so they have a potential to grab a young one or a sub-adult, which is a little bit less of a task to take down than a big old bull. Although the buffalo herds will often defend their young and start chasing the lions and that, but in that pandemonium it does normally give the lions a slightly better chance. And Liz, in Wisconsin, sorry about not finishing your question, Liz, but Scott did find Karula. So she would like to know whether this is the same buffalo herd that Scott was with in Kahuma Pride chasing them. It's almost impossible for me to tell. Firstly, I wasn't here, and these buffalo herds change constantly. So they'll merge and break up and merge and break up. So it's unlikely that it's the same herd. Hi Jennifer from Toronto. Welcome to a beautiful, clear sunrise full of bovids. Jennifer would like to know, do the cows stay with one herd and the bulls seek other herds? Jennifer, no, the herds will mix and match constantly. The only time that the bulls will leave the herds is when they get to that sort of beyond breeding prime, and they're pushed out by the younger bulls. But up until that stage, they will all stay with the herd, although the herd sizes and the herds change constantly. They might split into a smaller group of 50, they might join up with another bigger group and make a herd of 500 to 1,000. But you can just see that dust. And there will be a group of dominant bulls who will do most of the mating, and the mating, as I said, constantly goes on in these herds. But when under threat, generally those bulls will come to the edge and keep the cows and the calves in the center. Very important part of the ecosystem, these big herds of buffalo. They are bulk grazers, so they're not picky, so they eat all the grass in front of them. Also, they're great fertilizers, so they'll turn up the soil with their hooves, and that helps the grass seeds get planted, as well as defecating as they go, which provides a lot of fertilizer. And so shortly, all you're going to be able to see is this wall of dust as they disappear. Hi, Lucy from South Bend, Indiana. Lucy would like to know whether the buffalo horns keep growing, or do they stop at some point? They will keep growing very slowly throughout the buffalo's lives, Lucy. They never really stop, but obviously as they get older, the growing process does slow, and they do break them and chip them from time to time, and obviously that also affects the growth process. You can just see them through, it almost looks like mist, but it's dust. Anna-Marie would like to know whether buffalo are born with horn buds or do they develop later. They will be born with those buds. Sometimes they're not entirely visible under the hair, but they are born with them. And then you can still hear them as they walk away when someone gets a bit upset with someone else. There's one or two old boys off to the left. Older boys. You can still see quite a few behind them. So a really nice big herd. I'd say probably 300 to 350 buffalo. Definitely the biggest herd I've seen since I've been in this part of the world. Dave from Toronto, welcome. Dave would like to know why, with the big cats hunting at night, is it because antelope and buffalo have poor night vision, and how does buffalo's night vision compare to ours? Well, their night vision is probably a little bit better than ours, and they do have poor night vision in comparison to a predator like a lion or a leopard, but still not too bad. And the lions and leopards do prefer to hunt at night because it does aid them slightly, but with a big herd of buffalo like this, they're one of their biggest aids is all the confusion that is caused by, imagine a lion charging in there, all that dust and whatnot, and quite often lions can get separated from lions and end up stuck with buffalo in the middle of a tree and other lions over there, and I think lions rely a lot on complete pandemonium when they're hunting buffalo, and it is very, very exciting to watch, and specifically with these big herds. And quite often a lion will actually get a young buffalo down, and then the other buffalo will rush in and chase it, and then they'll turn around and run away, and then the lions will run after them again, and then they'll turn around and chase the lions. It's really, really exciting stuff. Well, it looks like we can just see the last disappearing bottom. We're definitely going to come and keep an ear out on the radio and see if possibly those Birmingham boys do hear all this commotion from the buffalo and make their way towards them and hopefully chase them back this way, and hopefully they come back with lions on their tails. But we're going to continue on and see what else we can find. Hi Sandy! Welcome back, Sandy. Sandy from Indiana would like to know, are those buffalo heading towards the last position of the Birmingham boys or away from them? Sandy, from what I can hear from their movements last night, they were actually heading almost directly towards the last position of the Birmingham boys. So, exciting stuff. So they were heading south from Hardacrawl, and that's over there, and they are heading, the buffalo heading north towards Hardacrawl. But of course that was probably about 8 o'clock last night. So a long time ago, and lots of stuff could have changed since then. Guys, while we are leaving these buffalo, we're going to see what else we can find. Scott, we're going to cross back to Scott, who is still following up on Karula, and hopefully he's still with her, and we'll be back with you a little later.
Welcome back, everyone, and it's a pity those buffalo crossed out of the boundary, but at least you did get a good visual of them. We've still got an idea of where Karula is, but she's moving through very thick bush, so we're just going to try and skirt alongside her and see what she's up to. We haven't had any good views since you've been gone, so you haven't missed anything. And I keep promising you shortly you are going to get a good view, but as you can see, it's very thick and bumpy here. Something, we're not sure what, that keeps getting attention up ahead. Could be some potential prey. We did hear hyena vocalizing, and she looked very intently in that direction. Morning, Brent. Go ahead.
Do you have a visual of her?
Yeah, she's at 10 o'clock.
Dropped it.
Brent, they were on Sibambili cut line with Arethusa, just west of Chilolo Road. Okay, copy, perfect. So that was Brent. He just wanted to find out exactly where Shadow and her cub were. I was supposed to head there, but then we got caught up with this beautiful leopard instead. In all likelihood, their kill would have been stolen last night. Shadow managed to kill a fully grown male impala yesterday sometime. Oh, look at her. She's very interested in something. I wonder what it could be that she's running after. Let's go and find out. As I was saying though, the kill that she made was on the ground. She didn't hoist it up into a tree, and there were no trees nearby that were easy for her to hoist into. So in all likelihood, hyena would have stolen that kill. Well, the last we saw, she was heading up here somewhere. But she was moving very quickly, as you saw. Deanna, go ahead. Deanna, Kersey's on first standby. You're welcome to a second standby. Karula is approaching the pump house in the drainage line, probably 400 meters west of there at the moment. Well, she's a popular lady, this, and everybody wants to take a look at her, so I'm just managing the standbys to the sighting. We will have a maximum of 3 vehicles in any sighting, and the rest will queue and wait their turn. Look at how beautiful this is, all the different colors we're seeing, as well as the incredible animal in the background. Okay, I think we're going to try and reposition quickly. She's heading off into thick bush where VM will probably no longer be able to see her. And therefore you will no longer be able to see her, and that's no good. I was wrong though, she's just changed direction and popped out quite close to us. She may head up onto a termite mound, and there's going to be incredible sunlight if she does. Come on, go up. No, she's skirting along the side of it. Oh, no, we're in luck. Look at how beautiful this is. Ah, that is too good to be true. I love watching their tails flick from side to side. It would be wonderful to know exactly why she's flicking it, but it's certainly a sense of excitement. She's not hugely excited because the tail's only twitching slowly, but still a very wonderful sight to be sharing with all of you. And the it's not uncommon for leopards to stop and assess their surroundings, making sure there's no potential threats nor potential prey nearby. And as VM zooms out, you're going to get a great idea of the surroundings we're in. And it's such a beautiful, crisp morning. Look at this. Too good. Too good. Okay, well, we've got a question from Christine in Nova Scotia, and I believe you're watching for the first time. It's so good to have you with us, and you chose a good morning to watch. It's been action-packed so far, and it's great to have you with us. Christine would like to know how old this female leopard is, and what is their average lifespan. She's about 11 years old now, and their average lifespan's about 18 years, but occasionally some female leopardess have been recorded into their 20s. So who knows, she could be one of them. But she's basically roughly halfway through her time on this planet if nothing else goes wrong. And we're hoping that at some stage, really in the relative future, she may give birth. The last time we were certain that she did give birth was in December last year, and sadly she lost her cubs from that litter. One to hyena, the other one we're not sure. And she is overdue giving birth. They can often give birth shortly after losing cubs. They can rather mate shortly after losing cubs, and 3 months later, they've got a 3-month gestation period, they will then give birth to the next generation. I think I'm just going to creep forward. We're going to have an opportunity while she is stationary to get you some more beautiful views of her. Not that that wasn't, but let's get a little bit closer and see what VM can do for you. Window around VM or backlight? Oh, well, she's on the move, so she made up our mind for us. Well, Christine, very good to have you with us again, and it's always great to know there's new people watching the show and sending through questions. So if there are any other new viewers who are watching for the first time, send us through your thoughts and your questions. She might scent mark here. Watch closely. She lifted up her tail in preparation to do so, but then didn't commit. Here she's going to, though. Watch closely. Oh, behind the tree. She really is moving all around us, zigzagging from side to side, making it a little bit tricky for us to follow her every move. But thankfully, this little vehicle we're in, oh, this is going to be great, so I'm just going to stop here. She's just up to our left behind some thick bushes, but if she comes out into the open, which I'm guessing she will if she continues in this direction, we're going to get some great low-angle shots. And good to hear that a lot of you are getting some wonderful screenshots. That really was a magical moment we spent with her as she sat on that termite mound with the early morning sunshine on her. And again, that's something else for the new viewers to think about. Screenshots are a great way for you to get involved and capture moments and memories that you share with us on Safari Live. So if it's really easy to do. Oh, we've got a dead end. We're going to have to... Will we? I think it would be best for us to turn around here. There's a thick cluster of tambuti trees. So we'll go around and try and find another angle to view her from. Tony from Holland would like to know, will female leopards continue to mate until they pass away, or do they have a kind of mate cut-off point where they in all likelihood will probably stop giving birth, and around probably 14 or 15 years would be the average cut-off point, but it always varies on the individual leopard. And I guess if you think of humans, for example, you will realize that just looking at us, you get people that can do certain things that other humans can't, and it's no different in the animal kingdom. Okay, she's just crossing over Philemon's cut line here. I'm just going to race up ahead to get you a good view. Okay, so there are 4 vehicles here now, so if you don't mind just standing by. She's going to go right in front of Aubrey and his guests, and that's great. It's Scotch here. There are 3 stations here, or actually 4 stations here, and 2 on standby. Copy. She's running ahead quite quickly, and possibly some impala up ahead here. This is an area where impala are often seen, and watch this closely. It's really great to be able to see her silently pouncing through this vegetation. We're going to keep trying to move alongside her to see what she's heading towards. It's always tricky. We don't want to chase away the prey that she's heading after, but we do. Oh, it's the warthogs for him. If you try and get straight through the gap there, there's a family of warthogs, and those little piglets would make a great meal for her. They've probably just come out of their burrow just minutes ago. I've got no idea where she is, but I don't want to move any further now. And let's just sit in silence and wait and see what happens. It's really tricky, these scenarios, because we don't want to impact in any way, so we just have to be a little bit patient. And if she was to chase after these warthog in this thick vegetation, we wouldn't really be able to see the chase anyway, so it's better to rather let her try and do a thing and catch one of these warthogs, and then we'll go into the sighting and take it from there if she is lucky. I haven't seen her for quite some time now, and that's no surprise because a leopard in full stalk will do a very good job of not being seen. Just going to creep forward a meter or 2 to see if she hasn't lodged up on the side of this termite mound. Greg, the sighting's busy, or to just getting a hold of everyone a bit later? Still no further sign of her, unless VM may have just spotted her. Have you got her there, VM?
I think she stopped again. Here she comes.
Okay, well spotted, VM. She's going to pop out into a little gap here, VM, I think. There she is. Copy, thanks, Orbs. Okay, so you can make your way. We are south of Philemon's cut line, west of the current BC Tower, probably 100 meters west. See the location I've just described? Looks like these water potentially have scurried off, but she could still be on their trail. Large termite mound that I'm hoping she may hit up. She's heading straight towards it, so we may get another good opportunity for some screenshots. I'm just going to stop here. Or should we go a bit closer? Let's go a bit closer here, I'm sorry. It's never easy deciding what to do. You're going to get an incredible view. Get ready for your screenshots. Where's the gap? Where's the gap we need? You'll get there. Oh, look at this. Absolutely beautiful. Perfect sunlight in her face. Elevated up on this termite mound. This is an incredible view. This is a wonderful, wonderful sight, and these termite mounds provide such useful vantage points for the leopard to get up and check around, again, for not only any potential prey, but any potential threats. And just like that, she's down. And continuing south. She's been moving mainly south and east this morning, and maybe if she carries on in this trajectory, she may end up another scent mark. She may end up at the treehouse waterhole, but she's still about a mile from there. Well, yet another incredible view of this beautiful leopardess as she continues on her morning activity. She's not scent marking as much as she was when we initially saw her, which is interesting because now she's in an area where we typically don't see shadow or any sign of shadow, so there's no need for her to scent mark over shadow scent marks. But where we initially found her was closer to the Arathusa boundary on the western side of Djuma, and it makes perfect sense then that she's been more active when she was scent marking in the area where shadow has been, as opposed to this area where shadow hasn't been. So this is still her patch. No other leopard has come in and started trying to mark their territory here, and I guess that's why her scent marking has subsided slightly. They will still continue to scent mark, even though it is their territory and no other leopard are evidently here, because they need to keep that message constant. Kersey is a tricky one at this stage. He's continuing south and will probably end up at Treehouse Stand if she continues, or Weaver's Nest Road. That will be quite far south of the block. Yeah, exactly. Tricky one. Oh yeah, possibly stand by the Weaver's Nest Treehouse Road. Just trying to help another vehicle get into the sighting. It can be difficult sometimes giving people good directions, because as you can see we're moving through very thick bush, and for somebody who's not been following it actively to find out exactly where we are now can be a little bit tough. So what I've suggested to Kirsty, who's going to be joining us, to rather possibly wait on a road junction that she could pop out on, as opposed to rushing in here. Morning, yours. Good to hear you back. Copy, thanks. Check that out. Yes, I'm doing quite a roundabout loop to try and take the path of least resistance to get us ahead of Karina. It will be a moment or two before we see her again. Okay, well that's perfect timing, because Brent would like to give you an update on what he's been up to, and we'll see you all a little bit later.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you've been having an absolutely fantastic time with Karula posing on termite mounds for you. So just to let you know what Jandra and I have been up to, we've been checking our northern boundary, eastern boundary for any signs of lions, and unfortunately the Kuhumas have been found to the north of us in Buffalo's Hook, so they're not around. So I'm going to keep checking down here. This is where we heard those Matimba males calling on yesterday's sunrise safari, quite close to the boundary. They were said to be mating with some of the older Styx lions, not the ones with the cubs. and I'm just going to go check if any tracks possibly pop across to our side. If we have no luck in this area, we're going to probably go head back to Arathusa and try check up on Shadow and Sindile. So lots happening this morning, busy, and isn't that wonderful? So we're getting into that area where we heard those lions calling, so I'm going to be looking very carefully for tracks at this big junction coming up ahead. But it is an absolutely spectacular morning after a few cloudy mornings. Lovely to have some sunshine. We're approaching the junction now. So let's have a look. Morning, Rosie and Shirley. Welcome to a sunshiny Djuma private game reserve. Rosie and Shirley would like to know what happened to that young male leopard around the lodge last night, and did we eventually figure out who it was? I'm not 100% sure. A lot of people think it's Kunyuma. I myself am not 100% convinced yet. I need to go have a look at some of my photos and compare them to the screenshots, and then I will definitely weigh in on that conversation. But that whole area is quite busy at the moment, so there's already a leopard sighting going on in that general area. So I've moved out, and we will definitely try to go have a look a little bit later, this sunrise safari. But while there's a lot of vehicles around there, I thought it best that we already have found Krula, so maybe to go have a look for some lions or check up on Shadow and Sindile. But I will make my way back into that area a little bit later. Morning, Martin from Johannesburg. Martin's asking about that young male leopard we found last night. Could it be Makambo, who is the son of Nkayanini and the brother of Shilova, who we have seen actually very close to where we are now? Martin, it definitely was Makambo. He was a bit too big for about a year-old leopard. Also, Makambo was found in Buffalo's Hook last night, so he was already seen that day. So I think that leopard's probably 2 to 2.5 years old. He could just have looked a bit smaller because he was so hungry, but it'll be very interesting to have a closer look. But definitely not Makambo. He was seen in sort of northeastern Buffalo's Hook yesterday on the Sunset Safari. So no lion tracks yet, and this is where we stopped to listen, and they were just in here somewhere. Maybe they've popped down towards Twin Dams. Welcome, Candy. Nice to have a question from you. Really great to hear from you. Candy says she's been watching for a while and seen a lot of lion and leopard, but hasn't seen any cheetah yet. We do see cheetah, but very seldom. I've only seen them once since February, and I think Scott and Mark saw them the same one on another 2 occasions. So I think there's only been 3 or 4 cheetah sightings since February. They live in much bigger home ranges, so they travel a lot bigger distances, and that's one of the reasons we don't see them as often. But they are around. and hopefully we start seeing a few more of them. They become sort of more sedimentary when a female has cubs, and then they don't move as much. Hey guys, I might have a little bit of signal breakup as I drop through this dip, so bear with me. Oops. And I stalled. There we go. So next spot we're going to check quite carefully is around here, which seems to be a highway for lions and leopards crossing between us and the property to the south of us. So looking very carefully for tracks here. Nope. So it looks like those lions have stayed to the south. We'll keep checking along here, and then I think we'll start slowly making our way towards that last position of Shadow and Sindile. Fresh this morning. It was only 52 Fahrenheit, 11 Celsius when we started. A little bit warmer now, but still fresh. And some impalas moving through to the thick bush. Oh, there's one out in the open. Morning impalas. So while we're going to move on our way towards the last position of Shadow and Sindile, we're going to cross back to Scott, who's still with the Karula. So really exciting to spend some time with the Queen of Djuma, and we'll be back with you a little later.
Welcome back everyone, and exciting prospects with Brent and the lion tracks. This is literally the first time we've seen her since she left us. She's veered back north, away from Treehouse Down, and she's coming straight towards us. So I think we're going to get some more great views here. Again, she's listening very intently. And may know that there is something in this area. Possibly she's heard or smelt. She is looking fairly hungry. Not at a critical stage, so don't be confused, but she could do with a meal. This is going to be great. She's coming straight past the back of our vehicle. Absolutely beautiful. Marie would like to know why those warthog ran off, and they're typically very nervous when they leave their burrow in the morning because they know that often predators will lie in ambush in and around their burrows, and I don't think they necessarily smelt her or saw her, but were simply off on the move. And I believe Dave said it was our fault, and we chased the leopard away with the warthog away with the sound of the vehicle. Dave, I don't think you're right, because I was here watching everything happen unfold in front of me. But if that's what you think, that's fine. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. What I'll tell you is that this is a beautiful sight, and the only way we would get to be seeing this, Dave, is if we were to follow her. And we are as sensitive as we can be when we do follow the animals. But if you want to see them, you need to follow them. And if they don't get seen, they don't get conserved. So it's a very important part of their conservation, showing you and other people their lives. And if we don't, no money will be generated to conserve them. Liz in Wisconsin, good to have you with us. And she would like to know if this is the leopard with the wow marking on its forehead. And yes, it is. I don't know if we're going to be close enough to show you, but VM's going to try. And just between her eyes, you may notice wow spelt out with her little spots. There we go. It's not easy to see, but if she faces us directly, you may notice wow spelt out. To be honest, I can't even see it very clearly now. Wow, as you can see, oh, there she just scent marked. I was firing away wildly. It was such a beautiful moment, so I had to try and capture it with my camera. And here she continues on what's been an incredible morning following her. Good. What will happen next? Going right past the hyena den site now. It's just off to our right. It doesn't look like any hyena right here. What I'm going to do is, rather than following her through this bush, I'm going to loop around to the next road. And that way enjoy some an opportunity to drive on the smooth highway. She in all likelihood is going to pop out on Weaver's Nest Road, which is the road we're just turning onto now, to the right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just try and get one last visual of her in this area before she makes her next move. Unless, of course, she's changed direction again. Looks like she's no longer heading towards the road I was hoping she was. So, it was a short-lived hope. But I still think we made the right move, because now we've managed to loop ahead of her general movement, and we'll hopefully get some shots of her walking directly towards us as opposed to away from us. It can be deciding what to do and where to go. It's always a bit of a gamble, but thankfully with more than one vehicle in the cycle, we are managed. One of us at least can always try and keep an eye on where the leopard is at any given stage. Ahead. Craig, I was just looping ahead. We know you're on standby and we'll call you when we're done. There's a few more large termite mounds up ahead that I'm going to head towards in the hope that she's also heading there. We got it there, Viam?
There's something moved up ahead.
Okay. Viam saw some movements up ahead of us. Where are they?
At 8 o'clock.
Okay. Well, Viam has spotted some warthog up ahead that are trundling off. And I can hear Lex, who's in the other vehicle. He's continuing towards us, so I think we can just wait here and Karula should pop out on our right hand side at some point. But what has been interesting is how much she zigzags and swerves when she's moving. Here she comes, Viam. Just going to move up ahead quickly because it looks like she may well head up this termite mound. goes, yeah. More scent marking, and this is absolutely awesome. Again, just meters past us. Okay folks, well, I've got some great news. He's found another wonderful animal that he'd like to show you, and we're not going to leave Karula, so we will see you all a little bit later. Enjoy what he's found.
Welcome back, everyone. And on our meanders looking for lion tracks, we've managed to bump into some elephants. I can only see 2 young bulls at the moment. The other one goes behind us. But it does sound like there could be a few more around. But it is a very, very thick bush, so this is only these 2 young guys out in the open at the moment. The others are in these really thick thickets that I'm not going to try push into. I'm just going to move forward a tiny bit, see if we can get a little bit closer to this guy. Hello, little man. So quite often you find these young bulls on the peripheries of the breeding herds. They sort of just get kept at distance by the adult females, as they can be known to get a little bit boisterous. Oh, yes, you're big and tough. So that little head shake there was just to remind us that he's a big, strong elephant and we shouldn't cause any trouble with him. He's feeding off the acacia. At the moment, it's an acacia gerardi, or a red thorn. And it gets that name, as you can see on that small branch he's feeding off. It's got reddish color on the branch, on the young branches. And you can see those thorns mean absolutely nothing to him. And he pops them in his mouth. Inside of an elephant's mouth, a bit like an old leather boot. Very, very tough. And those thorns don't mean much at all. And he's got his head right in that thicket now. I'm sure you can hear all those branches breaking. delicately sniffing and smelling which he wants to eat. Oh, looks like he might manhandle this acacia into a better position for himself. How's that incredible strength? It's always wonderful to spend some time with elephants. Just trying to work his way into the center of that thicket to try find the exact right branch. And it looks like he's actually going for a creeper that is growing in the middle of that thicket, rather than the acacia or the spike thorn or the guarri that is there. And he's not eating the tamboti. Elephants have been known to eat tamboti, which is a little tamboti there as well, but very seldom. And generally when they feel like they've got intestinal problems or parasites, and they will eat it as a purgative. So they will actually eat a poisonous tree to try flush their system. Kudu, baboon, black rhino are also known to do that. And giraffe, actually. Well, it looks like the rest of the zeddies are heading deeper and deeper into the thicket, and I'm not going to go crash through there and follow them and possibly disturb them, but we'll stay with this guy for a bit longer as he's on the edge of the thicket before we meander on. Good morning, Kathy in Washington. Welcome on the Sunrise Safari, Kathy. Great to have you on the back of the vehicle with us. Kathy's got quite an interesting question. Kathy would like to know if I've ever had an elephant push down a tree onto my vehicle. Kathy, fortunately not. One of the things about spending a lot of time with elephants is you learn not to position your vehicle in those type of positions. Unfortunately, this guy is heading deep into that thicket. So we could just make his outline there through the trees. So we're going to have a quick look to see if that other young bull is visible. Otherwise, we're going to move on. But no, Kathy, it would be very, very bad guiding if I managed to get into a position where an elephant pushed a tree onto me. When they are pushing down trees and that, you generally try to keep a little bit of distance. I can just hear the elephants as they disappear into those thickets. So we're going to continue on and see what else we can find. Morning stations, it's Brent from WildEarth. Is anyone copying me? Morning, Peter. I'm just looking for an update on Shadow and Montuan from the Simbambili cut line from yesterday. Okay, copy. Have either of those animals been located this morning? And any other updates for Safari and Dow? Copy, thanks very much, Peter. Have a good morning. So, well, we've got a quick update on what happened with Shadow and Sindile. Shadow did not hoist that kill last night, so it seems the hyenas have stolen it during the night. So no one's managed to find them yet this morning. So we're probably going to meander into that area, see if we can find some tracks. And in the meantime, we're going to cross back to Scotty, who's still with Shadow's mom, and see if we can keep the whole family going, see if we can find mother, daughter, and grandchild today.
Welcome back, everyone, and how awesome is it that we can swap between such awesome animals here and you get to see so much on our safaris. We've given Karula and a new vehicle that's just arrived in the sighting a little bit of space so that they can get themselves into good positions. But she is moving in our general direction, so we should get a visual of her very shortly. Oh, she's just ahead of us. Very good. She was just up to our right last time I saw her.